Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing my favorite, I say it every time, my favorite video that I do every month, and it is the new book releases for the next month. So this video is going to be all about June releases, and there are quite a few, as usual. I've been trying to get better about finding more like indie and like not as well known books. So there are quite a few of those on this list, and I'm very interested to get into them and see what you guys think about them. So I am very excited for quite a few on here. I did throw in some that I'm like not that excited about, but I think that you guys might be excited about. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in because there are a lot and I need to get through them and this not be like 3 hours long. So we're going to be starting on June 1st. This is an unusual date. I did see in the comments of my last one because I was curious about like the dates of these, and it seems like it depends on who maybe is like the main publisher. So on June 1st, we have Shanghai Immortal releasing, and it says Hodder and Stoughton, which is a UK-based publisher. So I like that person stated that depending on if it's the UK or the US, they have different like release dates. So this one, like the main one that I have, and it seems like I have noticed it said somewhere in an article that this one changed dates because this is a pretty big release. And this one was originally later in the month and they changed it, moved it up or something like that. Or it was like a May release and they moved it back. All I know is now it is June 1st, Shanghai Immortal by A.Y. Chow. And if I get any of these names wrong, just let me know. I'm not great at pronouncing names, so I'm going to be doing my best with these authors. So this already has 182 ratings with a 3.87, and it's going to be an adult fantasy debut with Chinese deities and demons cavorting in Jazz Age Shanghai. I think that sounds really cool. I feel like I don't really need to know that much more about it. Although now, like looking at it, I'm seeing half vampire. Very interesting. I feel like there's a lot going on in this one. So I'm really excited about this one. Then we move on to June 6th. And this is where a ton of releases are coming out. So we have Mortal Follies by Alexis Hall. Has 329 ratings already with a 3.67. It is marked as romance fantasy. Isn't this the same author as... Yeah, Boyfriend Material. Okay, so this is the same author as Boyfriend Material, but this looks like it's a fantasy. And I do know that one of the book boxes is doing a special edition of this one, I think. But I don't know anything about this one. It says a young noblewoman must join forces with a rumored witch to conquer an ancient curse in this devilishly funny and heartwarming sapphic Regency romantasy from TikTok titan and best-selling author of Boyfriend Material, Alexis Hall. That's interesting, calling Alexis Hall a TikTok titan. I'm not on BookTok, so I don't like know that much, but I feel like Alexis Hall was pretty big before TikTok was like super big, I think. If not, let me know, but I thought that Boyfriend Material came out like way before BookTok was really like a big thing. Either way, it sounds pretty cool. It sounds a lot different than Boyfriend Material and Husband Material, so that sounds really interesting. So this is one that I came across. I thought this sounded really fun. Girls and Their Horses by Eliza Jane Brazier, and it's gonna be a thriller mystery. It says, I couldn't tell if it was adult or young adult, but I think it's actually an adult release. The cover is giving very much young adult, like almost 2000s young adult. It has the Click vibes for some reason for me, so I was like, this seems a little absurd, but it's by the same author as Good Rich People, which I know a lot of people read last year. It's still on my list. I haven't read it because it hasn't done like super great. People have had mixed results with that one. But this says it's set in the glamorous competitive world of show jumping, a novel about the girls who ride their cutthroat mothers in a suspicious death at a horse show, from the author of Good Rich People. See, to me that reads very young adult, but it says it's an adult release, so we're gonna see. Next, coming out on June 6th is Lady Tan's Circle of Women. It already has 279 ratings with a 4.46, which is awesome. And this is definitely a historical fiction, which makes me nervous, but I like the topics that this book seems to be talking about. And it says it's inspired by the true story of a woman physician from 15th century China. Perfect for fans of C's classic Snowflower and The Secret Fan and The Island of Sea Women. I haven't read either one of them, but I like the idea of following a woman physician in the 15th century. I think that sounds really interesting. Next, we have A Spark in the Cinders by Jenny Elder Moak. I really like this cover. I think it's like a really neat... I feel like this is like almost the direction of some. I've seen a lot of young adult books lately that have this type of artwork. And the reason this caught my attention, it's a young adult fantasy, and it says Holly Black's The Cruel Prince meets Jennifer Donnelly's stepsister in this fairy tale reimagining about a kingdom on the brink of ruin, and one wicked stepsister's journey from side character to heroine of her own quest. So I think that sounds pretty cool. And it looks like it's following, like, almost after Cinderella, but we're not following Cinderella, we're following the evil stepsister. So I'm like, sounds pretty good. Next, coming out on June 6th is for all of the Tessa Bailey fans. I'm not really that excited about this. I may pick it up, but I don't think I've read a single Tessa Bailey. This is Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey. It has 790 ratings with a 4.15. And it's going to be following a down-on-her-luck Napa heiress. And it's going to be Marriage of Convenience, I think. So, to a guy she can't stand. I mean, that sounds pretty good to me. It has all the tropes that I really like in it, so I may check it out. It does say it's the second in this series, but most romance books, like their series, are normally just like people you know, like separate, like other characters in the book. So I am curious about this, but I would probably make myself read the first one first, just because that's how my brain works. Next one coming out on the 6th, I'm not really going to say anything else other than this is the third Marion Lane books. I feel like no one's excited about this except for me. I really like the first one. I do plan on reading the second one soon, but this is going to be the third, and it's called Marion Lane and the Raven's Revenge. And that's all I can say because these actually do seem to follow kind of chronologically. This is probably one of my most anticipated of the month. It is Some Shall Break by Ellie Marty. I am so excited about this one. This is the second in the None Shall Sleep series, so I can't really say anything else about it either, but it's young adult thriller FBI things, and I am so excited. I really, really enjoyed the first one. And then, of course, can't say much about this one either, but we have Lore Olympus Volume 4 coming out on June 6th. I cannot wait. Even though I'm pretty sure I've still read... So they're on Webtoon, webcomic, whatever. I stopped reading them on there so that I can read them when they come out, because I was just reading them on Webtoon, and then they were coming out and I was reading them again, which isn't a bad thing, but I think I'm just gonna wait for the books to come out. So I think I'm still caught up on this one, but I think Volume 5, whenever that comes out, is new material for me. But I am so excited. If you don't know anything about the series, it's a beautiful graphic novel series following Hades and Persephone's story, reimagined, kind of put into current day kind of things, and it's so good, but it does have a lot of trigger warnings, so check those out before you pick up the first volume. Okay, this one, the artwork definitely drew me to this one, and it's called Something More by Jackie Kalilia. This is a young adult contemporary romance featuring a Palestinian-Canadian girl trying to hide her autism diagnosis while navigating her first year of high school. It says this for fans of Jenny Han and Samir Ahmed, and apparently she has to like pick between two guys, something like that, which is a little nerve-wracking, but I like that there's autistic rep in this that I think sounds really good. So, and that cover art, the cover art is so pretty. So I'm pretty excited about this one. It does make me a little nervous because I tend not to like love triangles. So a little bit nervous about this one. The next one, we have Good as Gold by Candace Buford. And this says it's for fans of people who like Outer Banks on Netflix. And I love that show. So I'm very excited. It says it's a contemporary young adult mystery kind of thing going on. Propulsive mystery about one girl's search for her town's legendary sunken treasure in order to clear her family's name and save her future. So I think that sounds really good. Definitely has Outer Banks vibes to it. So I am down for this one. And then this one, another one where the cover drew me. And at first I thought this was middle grade because the cover does seem middle grade as kind of art, but it says it's a young adult horror fantasy paranormal. And it says it's The Cemetery Boys meets The Haunting of Bly Manor. So that sounds pretty good. It's already got a 4.15 with 116 ratings, so I feel like that's a pretty good initial rating. Queer Haunted House Mystery is equal parts spine-tingling thrills, a celebration of found family, and a must-read for paranormal romance fans. So that sounds pretty great to me. And like I said, that cover is super pretty. Next one is My Murder by Katie Williams. This is an adult mystery thriller that sounds very interesting. This is a different take on it. It has 105 ratings at a 4.07, and it says, what if the murder you had to solve was your own? And I think she like gets brought back because I read a little bit about this one compared to the others. And it says, yeah, she's the victim of a local serial killer brought back to life and returned to her grieving family by a government project. So it sounds like we're almost, yeah, it says science fiction and speculative fiction. So this could be really, really interesting and have some really cool stuff going on. So I'm really excited about this one. I hope this one is going to be a book of the month pick because this seems like something they would pick. This next one, the cover, just the purple. Like anytime I see like this like jewel tone purple, I'm like, gosh. And this is the Grimoire of Grave Fates. It does not have great ratings, but I think it sounds kind of interesting. And there's a bunch of like editors and authors and stuff, so I don't know if this is a short. Yeah, okay, it says it's a short story collection. Crack open your spellbook and enter the world of the illustrious Galileo Academy for the Extraordinary. There's been a murder on campus and it's up to the students of Galileo to solve it. Follow 18 authors and 18 students as they puzzle out the clues and find the guilty party. So I think this could be really good. I also think it could be a disaster because you're telling one story through 18 different authors. That is a little frightening. Margaret Owen, who wrote the Merciful Crow series, is one of the editors, which is cool. And Hafsa Faisal, who did We Hunt the Flame, is going to be an author in this. So I'm excited. I'm excited because it's a different kind of take on short stories, which I think is interesting, but I'm also very nervous. And then our last one coming out on June 6th is North Ranger. And this is going to be another graphic novel. I'm really excited about some of the graphic novels coming out. I hope there's more and more that keep coming out because it's definitely like an underutilized market, I feel like, especially with how great Heartstopper is. I really want more coming out. And this is a young adult, it says horror romance, so I'm a little, I don't know about that. In the swoony and spooky teen summer romance graphic novel set on a Texas ranch, 16-year-old Cade Munoz finds himself falling for the ranch owner's mysterious and handsome son, only to discover that he may be harboring a dangerous secret. I think that sounds really, really fun, and I've been wanting a like mystery kind of book, so I think that sounds cool. Moving on to June 13th, we have the 5-Star Weekend. I'm so excited for this one. I really enjoyed Elin Hilderbrand's last book, The Hotel Nantucket. It's just like the coziest of reads. And when you're feeling kind of down and you just want to pick up something cozy, definitely this author gives those cozy vibes. After tragedy strikes, Hollis Shaw gathers 4 friends from different stages in her life to spend an unforgettable weekend on Nantucket. And that's pretty much all her books are about, is like coming together, learning about yourself, etc. Normally not my cup of tea, but I really like how the author writes the characters. So I'm very excited about this one. And then, as we all know, we are all excited about Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Oh man, I'm excited for this book and really nervous because I liked the last book, but I didn't want it to be a rinse and repeat of the Love Hypothesis. So now I'm worried about Love Theoretically is just going to be another rinse and repeat, because just based on the cover, the guy looks a little bit different than the last two, but the girl kind of seems like she might be identical in nature to the last two as well, because that's the problem with her. It's mostly like a body type issue. If there's like page after page after page of them talking about how tiny she is, people are going to lose their minds. People are going to lose it because it's unnecessary just to mention it that many times. Like if you mention it once, fine, we get it. Doesn't need to be stated over and over again, especially because it was really beat in your head in the last one. So I'm very excited about this one. We're following a theoretical physicist, Elsie Hanaway, and she's an adjunct professor toiling away at grading labs and teaching thermodynamics in the hopes of landing tenure. Elsie also makes up for her non-existent paycheck by offering her services as a fake girlfriend, so sounds good. This one I did not put on this list for a very long time, but it just kept popping up. It kept popping up, and I was like, fine, I will add it to this list, even though it makes me super nervous because I don't like love triangles, and this seems like the ultimate love triangle. It's called Going by Coastal by Dahlia Adler. It sounds really good, and I really like the cover, but I also just like, I always choose the wrong person. I always choose the wrong person. But basically, we have a queer young adult rom-com in which a girl must choose between summer in New York City with her dad and the girl she's always wanted, or LA with her estranged mom and the guy she never saw coming. So I'm like, I love it, but I also choose the wrong person. So the person always ends up with the person I don't want them to end up with. So if I like one over the other, I know for a fact it's going to be the other one. So it just makes me like anxious because I love happily ever afters kind of thing. And yeah, so this one makes me nervous, but also sounds really, really good. And the cover is like stunning. Stunning. I love it. This one sounds like a fun one. This is a mystery thriller coming on June 13th called Speak of the Devil by Rose Wilding. It has a 3.61 with 365 ratings. All of us knew him, one of us killed him. 7 women stand in shock in a seedy hotel room. A man's severed head sits in the center of the floor. Each of the women, the wife, the teenager, the ex, the journalist, the colleague, the friend, and the woman who raised him, has a very good reason to have done it. I'm excited. I think that sounds so fun. Yeah, I am super excited about this and I cannot wait. It does say it borderlines on contemporary because I think you get to know like the women of the story as you go. So that is one thing to be wary of when checking this one out. So I probably won't buy this one. I'll probably get this one from the library just to make sure it's not like too contemporary and less mystery thriller. So we're going to see about that. The next one is called She Started It by Cian Gilbert. It has a 4.16 with 170 ratings for fans of Lucy Foley and Leanne Moriarty. Twisty summer debut thriller about a group of women whose Caribbean bachelorette party takes a sinister turn. Lord of the Flies meets And Then There Were None, but with Instagram and too much Prosecco. This also sounds like a book of the month pick. This sounds really good. I am very, very excited about this one. Adult mystery thriller. The next one is called Wolfpack by Amelia Brunskill. Perfect for fans of We Were Liars. Wolfpack is an unforgettable and unputdownable novel that will hold you breathless all the way to its shocking finale. Young adult mystery poetry. That is my qualm with this. I've really been trying to read books written in verse and poetry intermixed in it, and I have not liked a single one of them, which is really sad and confusing because I like Shakespeare, but apparently like contemporary poetry is not what I like, which really sucks because a lot of these books that I've been trying to read have great like ideas, but my brain's just like, nope. Nope. So we're going to try this one too, hopefully. And the last one coming out on June 13th is Something Close to Magic by Emma Mills, 4.33 with 33 ratings. A baker's apprentice reluctantly embarks on an adventure full of magic, new friendships, and a prince in distress in this deliciously romantic young adult fantasy that's perfect for fans of Margaret Rogerson and Gail Carson Levine. So I like this idea. Taking place in a bakery, young adult fantasy, there's magic. This seems kind of like a cozy fantasy in the vein of following Legends and Lattes. I feel like a lot of books are going to be jumping on the Legends and Lattes train, so this sounds like this could be a little more intense version of Legends and Lattes, so we'll see. Okay, this one's a bit funky. I put this in the later date because it has 2 different publication expectations. So it says June 6th and June 20th. So I'm just lumping it in with the June 20th. It may come out on June 6th. Some like this is like taken with a grain of salt. So you need to check just in case they come out on different dates because sometimes dates change, etc. So this one seems like it's going to be a book of the month pick. This could come out June or July. I don't know if it's chosen as a book of the month because this is the same author as The Push. This is The Whispers by Ashley Audrain. And this makes me nervous because I was not interested in The Push whatsoever, but this sounds a little more my type of book compared to the first one. Page Turner about 4 suburban families whose lives are changed when the unthinkable happens and what is lost when good people make unconscionable choices. I think, because I read a little bit about this to see if I actually was interested, and I think it looks like a mom yells at her kid and then the kid ends up in a coma like the next day, and the families in the neighborhood are trying to figure out what's going on, what's happening with the family, etc., and what the drama is. So this sounds kind of good. Like I like domestic thrillers, especially like neighborhood drama domestic thrillers. They tend to be something I gravitate towards. So this could be really, really good. The next one I'm a little nervous about because the first book that I liked was not a big fan of, but this is called The Spare Room by Andrea Bartz, same author as We Were Never Here. I did kind of like the twist of that one. It was a very fast-paced book, so I feel like this may also be fast-paced. I don't love the intro though. It says, staying with a friend and her husband is sexier and deadlier than anyone could have imagined in this provocative domestic suspense novel. And it's also going to be taking place during COVID. So this has a lot of things that I don't like in it, but part of me also like still kind of wants to read it because I'm a mess when it comes to thrillers and I just read all of them. So I don't know. This one I'm on the fence about. Another one that I thought I was going to be really excited about, but I don't love the synopsis. This is 0 Days by Ruth Ware. Big release. This could also be a book of the month like add-on normally when they have bigger authors. An adrenaline-fueled thriller that combines Mr. and Mrs. Smith with The Fugitive about a woman in a race against time to clear her name and find her husband's murderer. Not normally what I would read, so I don't know if I'll end up picking this one up. I don't know about this one. This one's an iffy one for me. But I really enjoyed Ruth Ware's last book, The It Girl, so I may try this one out just because I did enjoy her last book. And of course, probably the most anticipated book for everybody out of this list, besides Lore Olympus. I feel like I'm more excited for Lore Olympus a little bit. The only one left by Riley Sager. Say what you will about Riley Sager, he knows how to write a controversial, interesting book. So this is the most recent one coming out. I assume this is going to be a book of the month because they've done every single one of his books. Bestselling author Riley Sager returns with a gothic chiller about a young caregiver assigned to work for a woman accused of a Lizzie Borden-like massacre decades earlier. So yeah, that sounds really good. And I know it's following a woman in the past, like everyone thinks that she murdered her family, and then we're following her caretaker in the future, and the caretaker, I guess, is trying to figure out who actually killed the family, etc. And it's just like, yeah, I love it, and I love the cover. I think this sounds very isolated setting kind of thing going on, so I'm pretty excited about this one. The next one we have is You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Bayron, and it has a 3.96 with 178 ratings, and it says it takes place at Camp Mirror Lake. Anything that says it takes place at a camp and it's horror, I'm gonna be in. I love it. So I'm so excited about this one. At Camp Mirror Lake, terror is the name of the game, but can you survive the night? Perfect for fans of Fear Street. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I am so excited about this, and the cover gives me chills. It looks so creepy. The next one is an adult mystery thriller called Don't Forget the Girl by Rebecca McCanna. And it says, we never remember the dead girls. We never forget the killers. So I do think this is a very interesting take on that because it's I feel like very true. I feel like the killers, you never forget who they are, but the women who are murdered by these killers, you just forget their names. So I am curious what this is going to be about. I don't want to read any more about this one. So if you want to know more, go ahead and find this one and read more about this. But this sounds really good. The next one coming out on June 20th is A Crooked Mark by Linda Cow. And this is a young adult fantasy horror. Perfect for fans of Neil Shusterman and A.S. King. I was about to say the cover definitely gives me Neil Shusterman vibes for some reason. A dark and sinister debut young adult novel about a teen boy who must hunt down those marked by the devil, including the girl he has fallen for. So that sounds pretty good. Kind of on the back burner because it makes me a little nervous that he's going to end up killing her and then I'm not going to get my happily ever after. I don't always need a happily ever after, but I tend to like it because it makes me feel happy. And the last one we have for June 20th is Where Echoes Die by Courtney Gould. I love this cover type because I think Courtney Gould's other books have also looked like this. So I think it's cool that they're continuing this like trend of how they look like this. And this is a horror young adult mystery. And it starts with our main character, Beck, who has been adrift since the death of her mother, who was a brilliant but troubled investigative reporter. And she receives a mysterious letter in her mother's handwriting and saying to come find me. So I think it sounds really good. And you can see the cover has like a caravan on it. So this could be really cool. And we are on to our last date, which is June 27th. And the first one, of course, is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I know a lot of people are really excited about this one. This one makes me a little nervous because it's one of her adult romance books. And her adult romance tends to be a little more serious. And this does sound a little sad. The worst day of your life happens and you have to figure out how to live after it. And obviously it's about finding love again, but it's just, this makes me so nervous because I feel like I'm going to have all the emotions and it's going to freak me out. The Night It Ended by Katie Gardner is an adult mystery thriller. Finding the truth seems impossible when her own dark past has her seeing lies everywhere she looks. So it definitely seems like this is going to possibly be unreliable narrator kind of thing. And it's been a while since I've read an unreliable narrator book, so I'm kind of excited to see one coming out. The Shadow Sister. This cover definitely what drew me to the book originally, because like I said, it's the jewel tones, the blue and purple with jewel tones, by Lily Mead. It already has 203 ratings at a 4.12, which is really cool. And it says it's a young adult mystery thriller horror, which is interesting, and fantasy. So there's a lot going on with this one. And it looks like it's going to be a sister story, which is a little iffy for me. I don't love sister stories most of the time, although it tends to be like twin stories I don't love. So this could be okay. And it says that one of the sisters, Sutton, goes missing and Casey is trying to find her, but there's some weird stuff going on. So interesting. Are You Afraid of the Dark? I had to throw this in here. I really had to. Rin Chapico is going to be, I guess, redoing some of the Are You Afraid of the Dark stories. An original upper middle grade horror series inspired by Nickelodeon's hit TV series Are You Afraid of the Dark and penned by celebrated horror novelists. I had to add this on here. This show was part of my childhood and it traumatized me. So when I saw they were coming out with like a book series about this, I was like, I'm gonna have to check it out. Even though it's middle grade and I don't really read middle grade, I had to throw this in here. I could not help myself. The next one, I am so excited about this one. I love the cover. We got a gorgeous purple kind of like cartoony style on it. I really, really like it. And it's called What Happens After Midnight by K.L. Walther. And it's got 4.04 with 171 ratings. And we're following our main character, Lily Hopper, who is officially almost finished with boarding school, and she receives a mysterious note inviting her to join the anonymous senior class jester in executing the end-of-year prank. Lily sees her chance to put her goody two-shoes reputation behind her. Says it's a young adult romance, and I think this sounds so cool, and I really, really like the cover, so I'm pretty excited about this one. The next one, another one that drew me in for the cover because it looks just like Horrid. If you haven't seen the cover for Horrid, go check that out. It's definitely got Horrid vibes, and I actually like that one. This is a horror fantasy young adult, Starlings by Amanda Linsmeyer. And really what caught my attention, it says a dark young adult fantasy perfect for fans of House of Hollow, which I gave like a 4.5, and Small Favors, which I think I also gave a 4.5. I love those books. In the wake of her father's death, a teen girl discovers a side of her family she didn't know existed and is pulled into a dark and ancient bargain she is next in line to fulfill. That's all I want to know, especially with like saying it's like House of Hollow and Small Favors. Those are weird books, and the less you know about those going in, the better. So that's kind of what I'm going to go with this. Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton, 4.34 with 151 ratings. Dark and seductive young adult fantasy debut. A siren must choose between protecting her family and following her heart in a prejudiced kingdom where her existence is illegal. That sounds really good. I've been looking for a mermaid/siren story because I feel like the last couple ones that I've read have not been super successful. So I keep trying to find one that I'm really gonna like. So this is my next chance at a siren/mermaid story that I'm really gonna like. And I feel like it's like the perfect time because The Little Mermaid's coming out. I'm so excited to go watch The Little Mermaid. I cannot wait. So now I'm like super hyped for mermaid stuff, mermaid siren stuff. The next one is A Most Agreeable Murder by Julia Seals. When a wealthy bachelor drops dead at a ball, a young lady takes on the decidedly improper role of detective in this action-packed debut comedy of manners and murder. I feel like I've got a lot of debuts in this list. I didn't realize until I was like going through it all together. There's a lot of debuts in this list. This is a mystery historical fiction. This is the type of historical fiction that doesn't bother me at all because like Regency stuff just for some reason doesn't feel like fiction, doesn't feel like historical fiction. So it also says there's a mystery in it because obviously she's trying to figure out who killed somebody. This just sounds so fun. Feels like Pride and Prejudice, but mystery. So very excited. And then the last one is for fans of this series. I have not read one in this series, but it's definitely on my list. It's the Jane Austen Murder Mystery series, and this is number 3, and it says Manslaughter Park. I really gotta read the first 2. I really got it because I love the titles of these. And it says it's going to be a queer retelling of the classic novel and 3rd book in the Tirzah Price's Jane Austen Murder Mystery series. Mansfield Park is the center of a deadly accident, or is it? Perfect for fans of Lady Janie's and Stalking Jack the Ripper. So this is definitely high on my list to get to this series. Very excited to try this series out. And that's all I got for you guys. Those are the books coming out in June that I have found. I'm sure there's tons more. I feel like I was sifting through so many books, so I'm sure I missed some that people are excited about. Make sure you let me know down in the comments below which ones that you're excited about, which ones I missed. I would love to hear about that. And that was so much fun. I love going through these because I get so hyped about books and like planning like what I'm gonna get. And normally I put in, if you see this and you want in any of these books and you have a library, make sure to go put in holds now for these books, because sometimes they will like fill up, and like the Riley Sager probably already is out of control how many people have already put it on hold. So make sure you go put those on hold and you budget accordingly if you want to buy any. And I had such a fun time going through these books, and I hope you did too. Make sure you, let me know in the comments down below if I missed any, what you're excited about, which ones in this list you're excited about. I'm so excited for June. I feel like there's a lot of good stuff coming out. And make sure you like the video and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of these. I do this every month. So that's all I got for you guys. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.